Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you on how to install um, Mac OSX 10.8.2 and we're going to start by, of course, if you have Virtualbox installed on your computer already, that is great, but if you don't, you can always go to the website and do a free installation. So you just type in Virtualbox and you can actually go to, and I recommend getting the latest version of VirtualBox, and you can go to downloads, and you're gonna see at this moment, like during the recording, it's 3.14 for Windows hosts, and I'm using a Windows 7 PC, so you would go ahead and download that and run it, and it would keep after installation. You can close that out, and then there are a couple of things that you're gonna need before you continue. You know, finishing up with the installation of Mac OS X on your VirtualBox. That is, first you have to find the right ISO. I tried working with the retail version of with iBoot and even uh, some other bootloaders, and I wasn't successful. What happens is that it crashes and it says VirtualBox experienced a critical error, and then it just closes out the machine. So um, I'm gonna show you what worked for me. You can it's actually, you can download the torrent. All the links will be in the description, and you can download the uTorrent. And You want to do, you can either do 10 point, so it's right here, so you can, when you Google it, make sure it's a legit by Niresh, so you can download the torrent, and after that you can actually download it through, I usually use uTorrent, and you can actually use that to download it afterwards. That is all you need. You don't need a iBoot or any other kind of bootloader in order to run this. So I'm just gonna start up VirtualBox, and then I'm gonna see. So I have two Mac versions here, and I'm just gonna uh, delete this one. I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna do delete files as well. So what you can do is, once you start it up, you can go to new, and after that you can type in, I'm going to type in Mac, and then it's going to give you this version, but you want to do whichever one you want to do. If you want to do the 10.9 Mavericks 64-bit, you can go with that, but since I have the Niresh ISO and the installer for 10.8, so I'm gonna use that, and then click next. Okay, so if it gives you this kind of error, that means you have to go back, and you have to go back on your local disk, and go to users, and you go to VirtualBox, and you have to delete this. I had the same name, so it's saying that it's not opening, so I have to delete that. And be careful that you're not deleting the one that you don't intend to delete. So let's try it again. So we're gonna say Mac and 10.8, and then click next. And this one, I recommend checking the installed memory and available memory on your computer. This varies from computer to computer, so there's no one size fits all. You have to know how much memory you have on your computer, and be able to understand how much you need to dedicate for this. I actually have about 8 gigabytes of memory installed on this computer, so it's pretty safe. I would recommend giving not more than half 50% of your physical memory. So I'm gonna go ahead and do about 3 gigabytes of memory dedicated for this virtual machine, and then I'll click next. And then after that, you can create a virtual hard drive right now. So and then don't change anything. It comes by default, VDI, VirtualBox disk image, and then you click next, and you have to select dynamically allocated, and then you click next. Afterwards, you can, because the virtual image is not doesn't take up that much space. I would be installing some programs on it, so I'll give it like 100 gigabytes. That'll be more than enough for what I needed. Okay, now here we are, and make sure before you go to the settings and adjust the settings, you have to make sure it's selected, and you can click on it, and then go to settings, and then you're gonna see you can go to system settings, and then you can see that it's 3 gigabytes, and approximately it is 3 gigabytes. So you can deselect floppy and select network, and don't change any of these settings, but you can go and uh, deselect this enable AFI. So we don't want that, so make sure you untick that, and basically I'm almost done. You go to display, and I would dedicate about 128 megabytes, and I would just want a monitor count, just one would be enough for me, and enable 3D acceleration. And after that, you go to storage, and basically you're gonna, I usually remove this, and yes, and I would create a new disk, um, and let's choose the existing disk. Sometimes it's not there, so what you're gonna do is create a new disk, and you can do VirtualBox disk image, dynamic, and you can see, select, yeah, and that'll be enough. And of course, you're gonna need to select the disk drive, and you're gonna do choose disk. And this the Niresh installer that you downloaded is about 4.3 6 gigabytes. So you can install that using different means, and after you have it on your computer, you can select that, and it doesn't need another I iBoot or anything like that to start up. So what you're gonna do is the audio, everything else is good, and just go with this setting, and then you're gonna start it up, and just click OK. And it's gonna ask you if you would like to, start up the installer. So it's already highlighted on it. So all you have to do is enter, and this comes up, and this would be processing the installation, and it's going to take from 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your device, maybe more, and it's starting the installation right now, and let's just wait. Okay, so there we go. We have this. This comes up, and you can select language. If you want to do a different language, you can do that. And next, and at this point, you can click continue, but you have to be careful when you get to this point. You have to go to utilities, and go to disk utilities, and afterwards you have to you see this VirtualBox hard drive. It's 116.56 gigabytes, and it's 106 gigabytes, and so what we're gonna do is erase and make sure it's selected as Mac OS X. OS Extended Journal, and then you can name OSX and then erase. What this does is basically it's gonna partition the drive, the virtual drive, and afterwards you can close this and agree. And you're gonna select the OSX, the drive name that we just named just a couple of seconds ago, and you're gonna select that and click install. And it says it's gonna take about 21, maybe like 20 minutes, but it actually takes less than that in my experience with my device. So it might take more based on the physical memory dedicated to this VirtualBox and machine, and also the physical hardware that you have on your computer. So I'm gonna hello everyone, we're back, and the installation has completed, and then after the installation completes, you have to restart your computer. So the way I do it is basically go to machine and close and power off the machine. So this would power it off, and then you can restart it again, and that's what I'm doing right now, and click OK. And then instead of running the installer again, what you would need to do is select the hard drive, the virtual hard drive that we installed the Mac OS X 10.8.2. So you select that and click enter. So it's gonna try to boot in from. It's gonna continue from where it left off. So let's see. It's processing. Okay, so it's starting up, and you're gonna select um, wherever you are. You can select your country, and you can select show all, and you can if your country is not listed here, you can take a look at what they have. Pretty much have every country. So we're gonna do United States, and okay. So you can either choose Canadian English or United States. So I'm gonna go with the first option and go ahead and that's for the keyboard layout. So I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, so and if you need to transfer information to this virtual Mac, and if you want to do that, you can actually do that. But for right now, I'm not doing any transfer, so I would select not now, and then click continue. And I do not want to enable the location services, so don't use. And I don't want to use my Apple ID to log in, so I can just skip, and I just want to skip this and agree to the terms, and then you're gonna create a name and password for so I'm gonna do and account name and password required. So I'm going to do and then you're gonna select whichever time zone you're in. Select I want to do New York, so okay, New York, United States. So we're gonna click continue, and this prompts you again to you know uh, register this device to your Apple ID, and I do not want to do that again, so I'll just skip this, and it says thank you, your Mac is set up and ready to use, so we're going to continue. There we go. So this is the Niresh 10.8.2 installation, and it actually works, and the network actually works by default and automatically. So it's actually great. You don't have to do anything, any troubleshooting to actually figure out what the problem is and actually be able to connect it. And of course, do not shut off the computer at this point, because it's being configured, and it's gonna it's gonna configure the system and all that good stuff. So this completes my video on how to install Mac OS X 10.8.2. Thank you guys, and have a nice one.